Alright everybody, as you can see, we are on the road, which means that this did move. At one point. Now, we are currently filming episode 1 of Redneck Roadkill. So, oh, there's some roadkill right there. There's our thumbnail. That's a nice deer. Alright, we got some problems. Problem number 1 is it won't start because this is our, this be the signal wire for the starter, and it's a tad toasty. We jumped the solenoid. The starter is still working, but this right here is where she plugs in down there, and it's just a bit junk. It's also really windy, so I apologize for that. I don't know why. The headlights still work.
Here, see if the key don't work.
See if it works now. Maybe it was just grounding out. See if it works now.
I doubt it. Yeah, we got nothing.
Okay. The fuel pump still works. There's gas in the car. We already checked to make sure it's got gas. Lights work. Fuel pump works. Battery still got juice. The starter wire is probably shot. We don't know why the distributor would have shut off, because it should have just kept running until he turned the key, and then it would have died.
Well, something happened and it grounded out something in there, and that popped some sort of...
Well, here, give me a pliers. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go check all the fuses underneath there and make sure they're all good. So we'll be back when we check that. Alright, so we went up there and checked all the fuses inside of the thing, and they're all good, probably. So now we can jump the solenoid to get it to start, probably. We just get a couple wires and touch a wire down onto the thing. Wherever you can see it, right down in there where that yellow thing is. We just need to touch something to the prong right there, to the positive on the battery, and just hold it on there until it starts. And we have some spare wire in my car. That should be good enough to do that. The only problem is we're not sure if it's getting spark, because it shouldn't have shut off. If the starter wire melted, it shouldn't have really shut off. Unless, are there any other wires melted in here?
Not really, no.
Did you notice if your gauges stopped working for a split second?
They still work.
All the interior electricity works. So it's basically just a distributor problem. Or we could try to just jump the solenoid and start it. Let's get some wire and try that.
Thing is, we're gonna have to hotwire the distributor.
We might not. It might run. Something else might have made it stop or something. There was a power surge that made something quit working. Because that wire from the distributor is not melted. We got... This right here is...
Thing is, that doesn't explain why it stopped like that.
This right here is the distributor wire.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And it's
It
good.
shouldn't have.
All the way down to the fuse block. No, it shouldn't have quit. If just the starter wire melted, it shouldn't have quit. Yeah, here's the melty mark on the header where it decided it was done. So I'm sitting in here working on Peter's car. You got him in there chawing away on some Doritos. What was that you just said, Peter?
What?
Before? This is why you always what?
Huh?
What did you say?
Well, that's why I always keep a bag of Doritos in your car.
He said, this, folks, why you always keep a bag of Doritos in your car. So that when you break down, so that when you break down, you can just sit there and eat Doritos and have your friend fix your crap. It's great. So yeah, what we're gonna do, we don't have any butt connectors, so we're gonna invent on some. That's what we do best. Redneck engineering at its finest. We're gonna take one, the heck did that thing go? Where's it Dealy Whopper? Give me one of those things.
What things? These?
Yeah.
Those or these wire nuts?
I'll use this because it's quicker. Never mind, we don't gotta invent on nothing. So, we're gonna do one of these. Right about... Make sure you get all the bad Julius out of there. Right about... Oh! What the heck is that doing? Jeez. Is there even any wire in there? Oh yeah, I guess so. Okay. We're gonna do a little bit of snipping on. Right about... Maybe we'll call it good. Right about there. There. That one snipped more satisfyingly. That's part of the problem. So we're gonna take it and strip. This is 12 gauge-ish. Oh. Take it, strip some of this. Oh boy. Come on, get off there. Alright. And we're gonna voltmeter this. Find out if this is our problem. Try and start it once. We got way bigger problems, dude.
I think my ignition's jumped.
There's no voltage going to that wire at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If my ignition's jumped.
So now I'm just going to touch this to the battery. And we are totally just going to start this by hot wiring it. So it's this one right here. Worst comes to worst, we hotwire the distributor and hotwire this thing. We got 30-some feet of 18 gauge wire. We can just plug the distributor straight into the battery or into the fuel pump switch or something. Get out of there. And then we can start this bad boy just by hot wiring it. This is honestly some of the most fun I've had in a while. Wouldn't you say so, Peter? Oh, crap. I just unplugged some crap I didn't mean to unplug. Darn it. Get back here. Where'd it go? There it is. Good enough. Ouch. I just cut myself a tad, I think. Alright. That's gonna work. Whoa. Yeah, we're gonna try it. Hang on, let me get my phone out from underneath here. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna. What? Well, let's hotwire the distributor first. We also don't want to kill your battery, because after that, then we got bigger problems too. So what we're gonna do is zip that sucker out of the distributor and make a new distributor wire, and probably plug it into the fuel pump switch. That's the easiest place I can think of to run it to.
Well, I have a second switch right here.
Perfect. I feel like a lot of people would look at this and be like, man, this sucks, my car doesn't work.
If it was bad weather, it would suck.
Yeah, it's like...
It's nice out. It's like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And sunny, so...
It's 37. So, I mean, to a lot of people, again, that probably does not sound like good weather.
That's
but
great.
it's...
That's the best weather we've
Here in Wisconsin, it's sweatshirt weather. Yeah. I can actually still feel my fingers weather, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, it's just something different. It's a little adventure. And I kind of enjoy it. We're on a back road. If this had happened like on
like a highway.
Highway 41, it's a good thing we didn't decide to go to my uncle's today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, coronavirus is really sucking up our spring break quite a bit. Because, well, by the time this video comes out, the entire world is probably going to be on fire. But right now we're filming it. This is like...
There's only a few cases, sort of thing.
Crap hasn't really hit the fan yet. At least in the U.S., and they're talking like it's gonna, and everybody's saying we're gonna get confined to our houses within the next week, so then we're not gonna be able to do any of this crap anymore.
Yeah, because see, this was supposed to be for windshield wipers, but we can just run this. This is a hot, and then I bridged over, so we can run this as a hot.
Yep. To the switch, and then you can actually even shut it off when we get back home. And then we're gonna have to get a new ignition switch. But we got a whole buttload of this Julius right here.
Is if we can find another switch. Wait, what is this? That was fuel pump. What we could do, we could run this as a starter switch and run distributors straight to this.
Once we start it, I'll just start it in the front up there.
Well, I mean, because in case it like dies or stalls or something on the way in the middle of a road.
Don't stall it.
I'm still getting used to this clutch here.
Don't stall it.
It's weird.
Don't stall it.
I won't.
All right, we're gonna get to some wiring. We're just gonna zip this onto there and do some stuff with. Oh, that. Do we have any of the fancier connectors?
No. Maybe in your car.
Because I need a plug. Connector. Move your elbow once here. Search around in there for some coronavirus.
Oh, I found all of it.
Oh, we don't have any plugs. Because we need one that'll plug into the distributor. Alright, is this thing gonna go...
There might be a few lying around.
No, there's nothing in my car.
You sure?
What is that fuse for?
That is my fuel pump.
Do we need that?
Alright, y'all. We're scavenging for parts right now. And sorry if this camera isn't as good as before. Adam's phone died, so we're using mine. It's not quite as good. But I think we might have found it right here. Something like that. Yoink that off of there. Or any other stuff he's got back in there.
No, I think that's the best.
This is the best one.
Ooh, this might not be best either, though.
Well, that's all we got, so
I can't crimp nothing to this,
snip it back here.
That's true. Yeah, we'll just do one of these.
And then you can put a butt connector to it.
Delete.
We're gonna go stuff that bad boy wherever you was gonna stuff that.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna... You record this. I need to hold stuff. Also, if you ever wanted to steal somebody's car, this is how you would do it without a key. Except the steering wheel
except the
lock.
steering wheel would lock. I mean, if you can get around that.
This is how you start a car without a key.
Yeah.
I've used these things before. I just hate them.
I don't know how you can hate those.
Because they choke my darn fingers when I'm putting them together.
Well, that's your
I
problem.
twisted them the wrong way. What
Oh my
an idiot.
gosh.
Why did you tell me I was twisting them the wrong way, mister?
But yeah, everything was going great. We had some brake issues. We still do. I'm driving home with pretty much no brakes.
That's why you get stick shift cars. And
Yep, you can just downshift, and I only use the brakes at like stop signs. And yeah, you can see it's kind of down there. I don't know if you can see that. It's like kind of pretty wet. I think the line is pretty cracked down there. So I might just go ahead and replace all of them just to have it over with. We haven't had any overheating problems like we did before.
It's making good power.
It's making power. Yeah,
it's still
it
slower
pulls.
than the Z28.
Well, I haven't actually stepped on it yet. And I have probably clutch slip to the moon. But
you do have clutch.
yes. It's because I'm making all that power. But the clutch is a little bit weird. It like engages like halfway down, but doesn't engage till it's all the way out. It's super weird, but I'm getting used to it.
Alright, so if you look in there, we got this thing plugged in now.
There.
And then what I'm going to do is run this to that switch.
Let me through. Keep sending it. Got her.
Okay, hang on. You're stuck around your A-arm here and all this.
What the heck are you doing up there?
Okay, keep her going.
We got about 6 feet too much.
I told you.
We can put the switch in the back seat if you want.
Yeah, let's not say we did.
Alright! It worked! Alright, we got it going. We're gonna hit the road!
Alright, everybody. So, as you can see, the car is back in the shop. We got it back home off the side of the road. I guess I'm not really sure how much footage we actually got from it because both of our phones were either dead or out of memory. So a little recap. Basically what happened is we had one of these wires here mounted up against the side of the headers and it exploded the ignition switch. The dealy whopper on top of the steering column. So,
which we have not fixed yet.
We have not.
And that is not going to be fixed for a while yet.
You want to show them what we got going on in here? Yeah. Oh, and the car is up in the air right now due to
This is actually quite a while after that.
Yeah, that happened like a month ago. Well,
we didn't really end that video properly.
Right.
We're just like, we're going.
So stay tuned because we're putting new parts in this car here. That's why we got it up in the air. You'll see that video later.
This one. No, it'll be after this one.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. I just hot wired everything. So I think that's something else. I think this is my ignition switch. Yeah. So I just ran my ignition to this, and yeah, it fires up. The only thing that does not work is my blinkers. Everything else works. Brake lights, tail lights, headlights, everything.
So we're not sure if it's the wrong ignition switch or...
I think something got calculated behind the fuse box.
That could be too.
Because there's power going to the fuse box, but there's no power coming out of it. So there's something calculated back there.
But none of the fuses are blown.
No, all the
so we all
fuses are
checked
good.
that.
Yeah.
So something else. My uncle's even saying like it could be if a wire got too hot and two wires melted together, it would just explode everything. So, because like he pointed out, if there's enough juice to melt the ignition switch, there's probably enough juice to melt the wire. Yeah. Especially since those wires are like 16 gauge. You want to give them a hint on what we're working on right now?
Long story short, there's some new clutch stuff going in. And it's not going to be two clutches put together into one. It's actually...
Which is, where is that deal?
That's down there someplace.
So is that old beast that we basically just invented ourselves, and well, surprise, surprise,
it didn't work that well.
It didn't really work that well.
I mean, I got it down the road, but that's about all that we figured it would do.
So, stay tuned for that video. She'll be coming out probably right after this video. But alright, that's it for today's video, and like I said before, stay tuned for more stuff to come. Oh yeah, we got that.
Pretty good.
I'll show them the other thing.
Check that out.
It's way too good for us.
I don't know if there will be a video on that or not. So, there might be.
Anyways, stay tuned for all these, all the fun stuff to come. And we will see you guys in the next video.